The Galactic Peace Summit had just begun. The giant alien hall was filled with light, color, and the quiet tension of old enemies. Thousands of leaders from hundreds of planets sat in their chairs, some watching with hope, others with fear. The center stood a tall human woman, Liana Gray, Earth's top diplomat. She wore a white suit, clean and simple. White meant peace. She raised her hand. "On behalf of humanity, we seek peace," she said calmly. Then crack, a bright red beam flashed across the air. It came from the upper level, silent, instant, deadly. Liana's body jerked. Her eyes went wide. And then she dropped to the floor. Screams, panic. Some aliens jumped, some shouted. Security rushed in, but it was too late. The shooter had already vanished. Earth was in mourning. The image of Liana falling was played on every news screen across the planet. Flowers were left in front of the Human Unity Center. Her name was spoken like a prayer at the Galactic Council. Alien leaders offered fake words and hollow comfort. "We will investigate the incident," said Councillor Vecker of the Zarn Empire. This was the act of an unknown force, but Earth's leaders did not believe him. The shot had come from inside the Council, a place protected by hundreds of security systems. Only high-ranking members could get past them. This was no accident. No outside attack, it was a message. Someone wanted to kill peace and start war, in a dark chamber far below Earth's surface. A special team was called to meet Ghost-99 Elite, humans trained for missions that didn't officially exist. The team stood in silence as the hologram of the Earth's president appeared. "We sent a voice of peace," she said coldly. They answered with a bullet. Her eyes narrowed. "Now, we send someone else." One man stepped forward. Tall, quiet eyes like Ice Commander Ray's. He wasn't a diplomat. He wasn't a soldier in uniform. He was a marksman. He had 209 confirmed kills, none of them wrong. His job was simple. He didn't shoot first, he shot last. 3 days later, another council meeting began. Tensions were high. No one laughed. No one smiled. This time, Earth's new diplomat stood with someone else beside her. A man with no name tag, no smile, and no words. He wore black, moved slowly, and watched everything Commander Ray's. Some alien leaders noticed him and whispered, "Why? Is a killer here at a peace summit? Is this how humans negotiate now?" But Ray's didn't care. He was not here to make friends. He was here to end threats. His eyes scanned the room left to right, top to bottom, every breath. Every twitch dot, then he saw something. A flicker dot on the far balcony. A figure moved just slightly. Ray's left hand slowly reached inside his coat. He wasn't sure yet. He needed more. Then he saw the same thing the old assassin had done. A signal, a three-finger tap to the chest. It meant target locked. That night, Ray stood alone near the outer gates of the council building. Cold wind blew across the platform. 2 moons hung in the sky. He was waiting. Footsteps came from behind. A soft voice said, "You're not supposed to be here." Ray's didn't turn. "Neither are you." The alien behind him wore dark robes. His face was covered. But Ray's had seen the eyes dot, same as the signal man. "You're making a mistake," the alien said. Earth should have stayed quiet. Ray's finally turned. "You already made the first shot," he said. "Now I'm just finishing the conversation." The alien reached for something. Ray's didn't wait. A soft, thwick sound came from his wrist launcher. A small dart, silent, fast. The alien froze, his eyes wide, then dropped like stone. No alarms, no sound, no proof. Just silence. Just justice. The next day, another meeting. Everyone knew something had happened. Rumors spread. Some said the killer had been found. Others said Earth had made another threat, but no one dared challenge the human delegation again. Ray's stood in the back, quiet as always. The alien leader who had paid for Liana's death, the true mastermind, looked shaken. His hands trembled. Slightly, he knew someone was watching. The new human diplomat stood and said, "We did not come for war. We came for truth, and truth demands action." She turned and nodded to Ray's. He stepped forward, holding a small silver cube. He pressed a button. A hologram played in the air. It showed the alien mastermind in a dark room, speaking to the assassin. Her mid-speech, he said, "Make it public, make it loud. Peace must not survive." Gasps filled the room. Some alien leaders stood in shock. Others turned to the mastermind with rage. "You planned the killing." One shouted, "You betrayed the summit." The guilty alien tried to lie. "This is fake." Human lied. But it was too late. Council guards moved in. He was taken away, and Earth stood taller than ever. That night, Reyes looked out at the stars from the human quarters. Another assassin gone. Another threat ended. But the war wasn't over. Not yet. Peace would come, but not because of trust. It would come because people knew what happened when Earth was betrayed. Someone joined him at the balcony. It was the new Diplomat. "You never spoke a word," she said. "I didn't need to," Reyes replied. She looked at him for a moment. "Will you return home now?" Reyes looked back at the stars. "Not yet. They're still watching, so I'll keep watching too." She smiled faintly. "Then let them watch a human who never misses." The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Today's meeting was not like the last. No music, no speeches, no smiles. A new human diplomat stood at the center stage. Her name was Dr. Eliera Moan. She was calm, serious, and sharp with her words. But all eyes weren't on her. They were on the tall human man standing quietly behind. Her, he didn't speak. He didn't blink much. And he never sat commander. Reyes, he was Earth's answer to betrayal. Whispers filled the rows of alien seats. Is that him? The one they call the Eye that kills? They sent a sniper into a peace meeting. How uncivilized. Some laughed nervously. Others looked away. But no one dared speak it too loudly, because Reyes was watching. His eyes moved slowly across the room, scanning faces, patterns, hands, shadows, every twitch, every breath. He saw fear. He saw fake smiles. He saw one alien pretending to sleep, but really watching through a data lens. He stored every detail in his mind. He was not here to enjoy the meeting. He was here to finish what had begun. The council began its talks. Different species spoke about healing, about moving forward. One of the main voices was Counselor Exertal of the Drevik Empire Atoll. Lizard-like alien with silver robes. "We mourn the loss of Earth's diplomat," he said. "But we must not blame anyone without proof." Reyes stared at him for a long second. Exertal had spoken the loudest at the last summit moments before Liana Gray was killed. Now he spoke of peace, but his words were cold, hollow. Reyes had seen that kind of voice before on battlefields. Right before someone pulled a trigger, Dr. Eliera Moan stepped forward to speak. Her voice was clear. "We are not looking for war," she said, "but we are also not fools." Exertal smiled gently. "We believe in forgiveness." Reyes moved slightly. That smile? It was the same smile he saw in the recording, the one given before the kill command. After the meeting, the council leaders walked into private rooms. Dr. Moan walked quietly beside Reyes. "You didn't move much during the talks," she said softly. "I was busy counting," Reyes replied. "Counting." "Liars?" She paused. "And how many did you find?" 9, but only one gave the kill signal. He didn't say who. Not yet. But his mind was already clear. It was Exertal. Later that night, Reyes stood outside the ambassador hall. He wore black again, a thin weapon hidden under his coat. Rain fell lightly over the floating city. In the distance, he saw movement on the upper balcony. A figure, not tall, not slow, quick, precise. The same assassin from the last summit. No doubt, this one moved differently, sharper, more confident. Another, professional. They were going to strike again. Reyes didn't wait. He pressed a button on his wrist. A hidden drone shot out of the wall and flew above the balcony, silent as air. Reyes spoke into his communicator. Got one. Not alone. Inside the summit room, Dr. Moan was still meeting with smaller council groups. Reyes sent a silent warning. She stepped back from the glass podium. Just in time, crack! A shot blasted through the glass. It missed her head by inches. Guards screamed. Lights flashed. But Reyes was already moving. He climbed the stairs like a shadow, up toward the sniper's perch. When he reached the top, he saw the figure running across. The roof. Fast, light-footed, wearing cloaking armor. Reyes didn't shout, didn't ask questions. He raised his wrist, aimed and fired a second drone. It chased the figure in the dark. A flash of sparks lit the night as the drone struck. The figure screamed and fell, but before Reyes could reach them, a small explosion destroyed the body. Clean, erased. No identity left. Professional indeed. But Reyes had already seen enough. On the sniper's wrist was a mark half burned, but clear to him the Drevik symbol, Exer Tal's Empire. The next morning, Reyes walked into the council alone, no guards. No permission, just calm steps. The chamber, filled with whispers. Is he allowed in without escort? He doesn't follow the rules. Earth no longer sends peace, they send killers. Reyes walked to Exer Tal's seat. He dropped a small, burned piece of metal onto the desk. The Drevik mark. This came from the assassin you sent, Reyes said quietly. Exer Tal's smile vanished. I don't know what this is, he said. You do, Reyes replied. And now so does the council. He turned to the chamber and held up a small projector. It showed a recording from the drona. Short image of the assassin's body, the weapon, the aiming line, and the moment before death. Clear, unarguable, gasps filled the hall. Drevik tech, someone said. This wasn't peacekeeping, it was murder, Exer. Tal stood quickly. These are lies, he shouted. Earth fabricates war to gain power. Reyes stepped forward slowly. We didn't start this war, he said, but if it comes, we won't run from it. He looked at the rest of the council. Someone killed our diplomat mid-speech, then tried again. We responded without a fleet. Without bloodshed, we answered with truth. He turned away, but don't mistake our silence for weakness again. That evening, the council announced its decision. The Drevik Empire would be investigated. All Drevik members were removed from security roles, Exer. Tal was stripped of leadership. For the first time in a decade, the council took Earth's side without question. NPs. It remained for now, because one silent man had watched, moved, and acted without fear. Inside the human transport ship, Dr. Moan sat across from Reyes. You didn't shoot anyone in the chamber, she said. I didn't need to, he replied. I thought Marksman only kill, she said with a small smile. Reyes looked at the stars outside the window. Sometimes the best shot is the one you don't take. She nodded, double quotes, and if they try again, Reyes leaned back in his seat. Then I stopped watching. He opened his coat slightly to show the weapon still hidden inside, and I start hunting. The Galactic Council was shaken. Exer Tal of the Drevik Empire had been removed from his seat. The evidence was too strong. 2 attempts on Earth's diplomats had failed, but the galaxy had seen the truth, and Earth had not fired a missile, had not invaded a world. They had sent one man, and that man had become their warning. Reyes stood on the rooftop of the council tower, staring into the storm clouds. Cold wind brushed across his face. He wasn't celebrating, not yet, because he knew something others didn't. This wasn't over. The Drevik didn't just kill for power. They killed to start wars, and someone else had picked up the assassin's weapon. Inside the council chambers, Dr. Alira Moan spoke to the gathered leaders. Earth will not accuse further, but we will not forget what happened here. Councillor Vecker of the Zarn Empire stood. His tone was calm. We support Earth's demand for safety. The Drevik acted alone. Dr. Moan gave a polite nod, but her eyes turned to Reyes, standing quietly in the shadows behind her. He was scanning, watching. Then he saw it, a faint red dot. It moved slowly across the wall behind Alira's podium. No one else saw it, but Reyes did. It was back, the red dot. Stopped on her chest. Reyes didn't shout, didn't run. He moved his left hand to his side, pressed a small trigger inside his coat. A thin metal plate shifted in his sleeve. A silent gun dropped into his palm. He aimed upward toward the far right balcony. Pop! A small, silent bullet cut through the air. No sound, no flash. The council continued speaking, but then in the balcony an alien figure fell forward. No scream, just a heavy thud. A second later, guards yelled, lights flashed. The meeting stopped. Dr. Moan turned in shock. Reyes walked toward the center, calmly. One shot, one body. The guards ran to the fallen figure, a Drevik soldier. He was dressed as a council worker, but inside his jacket was a rifle, fully charged. It was aimed at Earth's delegate. Reyes spoke loud enough for the chamber to hear. This was not defense. This was prevention, Dr. Moan added. If he had fired, Earth would have lost another voice. Counselor Vecker looked stunned. But, how did you know? Reyes pointed at the weapon. That model only activates when its laser is aimed. I saw the light before it charged. Another council leader asked, How did you hit him so fast? Reyes' eyes were cold. I don't miss. The council was silent. No one argued, because they knew if Reyes hadn't acted another, human would be dead. If Earth hadn't brought him, there would have been no proof, no second chance. A new law was proposed right there. Every species may assign one security operative at peace, talk-strained and armed. Reyes didn't smile to him. It wasn't a win. It was just survival. Later, in the Earth quarters, Dr. Moan sat across from Reyes. You saved my life, she said quietly. Reyes poured a small glass of water. I did my job. She leaned forward. No, you did more than that. You changed how the council sees Earth. Reyes didn't answer at first. Then he said, They'll respect us. But that doesn't mean they trust us. Do we trust them? She asked. No, Reyes said simply. But now they know we don't need to. Back on the council floor, the investigation began. The Drevik soldier had a message chip inside. His chest encrypted. The tech team opened it. One line appeared on the screen. If Earth will not burn, then we will bring the fire. A threat. A promise, signed by a group no one had seen in centuries. The Silent Flame, a secret organization made of extremist aliens who believed peace was weakness and war was glory. They had returned. The council was shaken. If the Silent Flame was real, it meant the assassination wasn't just about Earth. It was the start of something much bigger. Dr. Moan called a private meeting with Earth's allies. Reyes stood by the wall, silent as always. We need to prepare, she said. If they come for us again, we won't be lucky next time. A Martian general replied, What do you suggest? Reyes spoke for the first time. Let them come. They all looked at him. He continued, Earth won't run. We'll watch. We'll wait. And when they strike, we'll return it tenfold. That night, Reyes went to the spot where he shot the assassin. He stood on the high balcony, looking over the empty chamber. He placed a small mark on the floor, right where the Drevik soldier had fallen. It was a circle. Inside it, a single ... .1 message, no words needed. Let the next killer see it, and think twice in the final meeting of the week. Dr. Moan addressed the council again. We don't want a war. We never did. But Earth will never sit still. While knives are pointed at our backs, she paused, then looked at Reyes. Your peace comes from documents. Ours comes from people like him. Reyes didn't move, but every alien in the room looked at him. Differently now, not as a brute, not as a threat, but as the man who kept Earth standing outside the chamber. A young alien reporter ran up to him. Commander Reyes, just one question. He stopped, the reporter asked. What's your message to the galaxy? Reyes looked directly into the lens and said just one word, try. The Galactic Council chamber was quieter than ever before. No laughter, no whispers, just silence. Everyone remembered what happened last time. A diplomat nearly killed. A sniper shot dead mid-meeting. The assassin exposed Dot and Commander Reesearth's ghost was still here. He stood at the edge of the chamber. No emotion, no expression. Only alert eyes watching everything. This was the final summit. And everyone knew if something happened today, it would be the last straw. Counselor Vecker stood first. We gathered today to close this chapter of violence and return to peace. He looked around the room, but not everyone looked back. Some alien leaders avoided his eyes. The fear was still there. No one trusted anyone fully. Even the walls felt tense. Dr. Alira Moan, Earth's diplomat, stepped forward. She wore no jewelry, no bright colors, only black, a sign of mourning, but also a sign of warning. Her voice was steady. Earth came here. In peace, our diplomat was murdered mid-speech. We answered with restraint. We exposed the killer. We stopped another attack. She looked directly at the camera, broadcasting across the galaxy. We didn't start this, but we won't ignore it anymore. From the back of the room, a soft sound echoed, tap, 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 tap. Reyes shifted slightly. That rhythm he had heard it before. A code used in the Silent Flame. Someone in the chamber was signaling again. He scanned the room. One alien had moved his hand too quickly. Another leaned forward too far. Ray's eyes locked on one delicate, a female alien from the Tauros belt. She smiled. Too wide, too perfect. She opened her mouth to speak, and then it happened. A sharp burst. A blue light shot from the far wall. It wasn't a laser. It was a beam of sound, silent to ears, deadly to organs. It rushed toward Dr. Moan like a ghost, but Ray's was faster. He tackled her to the floor. The beam hit the metal behind them. It melted. Instantly, screams echoed in the chamber. Security moved, but to slow the attacker, Rose revealed. It was the smiling delegate. She pulled out a second device. This one glowed red dot, a bomb, but Ray's was already moving. He crossed the distance in seconds, faster than anyone expected. She pressed the trigger. Nothing happened. Ray's hand grabbed the device and twisted it free. He threw it into a shielded chute behind him. A second later, boom, the explosion shook the chamber. But the shield-held smoke filled the air. The would-be killer tried to run, but Ray's caught her by the shoulder and slammed her to the ground. She hissed, "You think this is over?" He looked her in the eye. "No, but it's your end." Security rushed in. The assassin was taken away. Council members looked around, stunned. Some were afraid. Others were ashamed. They had sat in this room pretending the threat was gone. But the silent flame was still alive, just more careful, more hidden, and more dangerous. Dr. Moan stood again, her suit torn, a small cut on her cheek, but her voice was even stronger now. "You've seen 3 attempts. All stopped not by your systems, not by your guards, but by one human man." She looked at Ray's. He didn't nod. He didn't speak. He just stood, watching. Dr. Moan turned to the council. "This is the last time Earth sits silent while knives are hidden behind words." Counselor Vecker stood. "We didn't know," Ray's finally spoke. "You didn't want to know." His voice was calm, deadly calm. "You thought humans were weak, too emotional, too loud." He stepped forward, each footstep echoing across the floor. He reached into his coat and pulled out a silver coin. He held it up. "One side is peace," he said. "The other side is what happens when peace dies." He flipped the coin. It landed silently in his palm. Then he dropped it. On the floor between the council members, clink, silence. Dr. Moan added, "We won't start a war, but we won't wait for the next bullet either." She turned and walked toward the exit. Ray's followed behind Dot before stepping out. He looked back once. His final words echoed. "Next time you see a human without a weapon, be afraid. Because if we sent a marksman to the peace talks, imagine who we send to war." Later that day, the assassin was questioned. She said only one thing before she was taken to a high-security prison. "The fire is still burning. You stopped 1, but 10 more are coming." Earth didn't wait. The very next day, the Ghost 9 team deployed across known flame territories. They didn't broadcast it. They didn't make speeches. They just hunted, and planet by planet. The flame began to vanish, one silent mission at a time. Ray's returned to Earth weeks later. He stood before the president, silent as always. "You did more than your job," she said. Ray said nothing. She asked, "What do you want next?" Reyes looked at the stars beyond the window. "Peace." She smiled. "That's rare from you," he nodded, "because real peace means my job is done." "Is it done?" He turned toward the door. "Not yet." Dr. Moan sent a final message. "To the Galactic Council, Earth will still attend future peace talks, but our seat will always have a guard now. Not because we fear others, but because we've learned the cost of being unprepared." On the floor of the council chamber, the silver coin remained. Some feared to touch it. Others picked it up, flipped it, and quietly placed it back. It became a symbol. One side said, "Peace." The other said, "Prepared." And everyone remembered. The man who dropped it, the silent sniper who spoke with action. They called him a killer, a threat, a shadow in peace. But Earth called him something else, a warning. The sniper who never spoke unless he had to, and when he did, the galaxy listened.